Good afternoon. I know I'm standing between you and lunch, but this is a very important topic, so do pay attention, and I'm sure you'll find something interesting in this. It's a very interesting picture out here. I met Professor Kevin Warwick, the person on the bottom of this slide. He's doing some very interesting work and very innovative type of solutions he's creating on body implants. So he's not only building technology, but he's actually embedding technology inside the human body. And he does most of the experiments on himself, on his wife and his students. And what he demonstrated was something very phenomenal. A person sitting in his chair, through technology which is embedded in his arm, is able to manage the entire home, be it putting on lights, increasing the cooling, put on the TV, just by the thinking or the thought of the individual. The simulation was actually enabling a lot of technology to be enabled. Very amazing stuff, especially in context of people who are disabled, people who are not able to do things on their own. Some amazing work which is being done. So let me give you a view of what is the type of things which we are seeing in the industry and what are the type of solutions we are helping create for our customers. But before I go ahead, this is a view of the, we talked about Industry 4.0 as the topic of the of this particular talk. But what is Industry 4.0 and what is Industry 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0 relate to? So this is a just brief history of how things have evolved. So when we looked at the one major development which happened way back in the 18th century was the steam engine. And the steam locomotive brought in a significant amount of change because distances were shortened, the mass production in form of factories came into play, and that is what is called as Industry 1.0. Industry 2.0 saw the introduction of electricity and air transport. These were two big milestones. Came almost about 100 years after the first industrial revolution, and usage of electricity started a whole lot of new developments, new technology. Air transport enabled a whole lot of fast movement of goods, different types of solutions got created in the entire supply chain. Fast forward almost 100 years, and in the 1970s we saw what was called the Industry 3.0, which was largely an introduction of computers. And many of us here, including many of our faculty members out here and the eminent dignitaries which we had, have seen this era very closely. This was the introduction of computers, a lot of automation took place. And then, you look at what all things have gone over the last few decades and where we are today. So let me give you a view of the Industry 4.0 or what type of things which we are seeing in the industry with some examples and stories about what are the type of solutions which are making difference in the industry. So this is a view of a nuclear power plant. So many of you have seen different types of industries. It's one of the most hazardous industries to work in. A nuclear power plant, this is actually a picture of a power plant in Japan. What we have done is we have actually created a complete digital twin of this power plant. So sitting in India, we are able to manage and monitor this entire plant because of creating a digital twin of this power plant. One of the things which is very important on managing a power plant is the safety of the people who work in the power plant. So understanding every element of temperature, pressure, various other different elements, we can now predict that this particular area in the power plant is hazardous for an individual to work in. So that's the type of evolution that we've been able to create, and this is live. This is one of the biggest innovations that won an award at the Tata Innovista Annual Innovation Forum, which is the digital twin, and we have now been using the digital twin concept in creating digital twins for various environments. We've created a digital twin of an oil and gas exploration. We've created a digital twin of a mining company. We've created a digital twin of a human skin So various technologies which are actually playing a role on creating a complete digital image of some of the most complex engineering equipments and engineering setups which are there. This is a truck. Okay, that's what the image, when you look at it, everybody will say what's great. This is a truck. This is one of the most complicated computing environment available today on a mobile device, on a mobility solution. This truck is actually transporting very highly sophisticated medicines from different parts of the world. It has sensors to keep the temperature on this particular truck at an optimal level. This truck actually moves from a very high temperature zone to one of the most coldest locations, and the temperature variations are quite significant. And to enable this, there is remote monitoring of this truck. A significant amount of computing actually is monitoring it on a real-time basis. The engines on this truck are remotely managed so that we are able to predict if there is a potential failure in any of the engine parts. And this particular engine manufacturer, which is one of our customers, is able to completely reimagine their business model from being just an engine manufacturer to a complete logistic management solution provider. This is an old lady playing with a cat. Very nice picture. That's not a cat, that's actually a toy. One of our customers is a toy manufacturer, and they always, when you look at toys, you think about children, right? Many of you have probably played with toys, brought toys for your kids, grandchildren, and it's a joy of giving that toy to the kid. But this customer of ours actually reimagined the use of toy as a companion to the aged, and this is a solution that we built in context of one of the programs that we are doing for old age care. This toy is a very intelligent toy. This cat is a companion. It can converse. It can measure various parameters for that particular patient, and it can communicate back to the hospital, which is on a regular basis monitoring the health and well-being of this patient. So these are the type of solutions which are being created by people, and it is not the future is here. Many of us are actually frequent travelers. We've probably gone to airports, we've gone to hospitals. One of the common things that you'll notice is of wheelchairs. The management of wheelchairs at an airport is a very complex process. You need to ensure that the person who is actually being transported from one location to another obviously is in pain, he or she is in pain, and hence you need to take a good care of that particular individual. At the same time, you have to also ensure that the airline is not getting delayed because you are delayed in getting the patient or the person to the plane. So you've created a very sophisticated solution wherein an IoT-based and analytics-based solution is actually helping the airport management team to actually manage the entire wheelchair management at an airport using a mobility device where you actually get a view of where are the wheelchairs, where are the people who are managing the wheelchairs, what is the type of predictions we can make on what demand is there and what is the type of supply which is available. And we've actually built this solution for a hospital in Japan, and then we actually took that same idea and replicated that entire solution at an airport, and as an airline, this become a very big innovation for them to actually manage the entire wheelchair operations. The equipments which are there in any hospital or any heavy equipment industry is very crucial. The uptime of this equipment is very crucial, and some of the parts which are available for maintenance of these equipments have to be brought in just in time before the failure happens. And predictive analytics is helping one of our large customers, which actually is into heavy equipment, on medical equipments, for example. You just imagine you take a person who is suffering from a chest pain and you want to do an ECG, and you bring in the patient over there and the ECG machine fails. Just imagine the type of impact it could have to a set of patients who are there. By doing predictive analytics on the maintenance aspect of the different parts of this ECG machine, we can actually help avoid the downtime, and that's the type of things that analytics today is able to do to help this particular customer of ours. Everybody is using mobile transactions to do payments. People use different types of e-payments. The entire demonetization and post-demonetization, a significant amount of transactions in India have moved to wallets, to credit cards, to different types of payment mechanisms. But along with it comes the threat of cyber theft. And a significant amount of effort is happening in the area of cyber security and various aspects around data theft. Again, a very good opportunity for all of you to look at cyber security as a key area and look at the type of complications which are there in this particular area and the type of research which is happening, which is enabling banks and various financial transactions to be secure at a scale that they are operating. You would accept that one of the biggest threats to our country is on terrorism. And terrorism is a global problem. We've been working with the government of India on building surveillance systems. If you go around in Pune, you'll see that as part of the Smart City program, there are quite a few surveillance cameras which have been installed. But what happens of those images? What happens of the video streams which are captured from those cameras? Currently, there are a lot of people who are monitoring those. It could be the police, it could be the secret service, it could be the CBI. Various agencies actually have people monitoring it. And we believe that AI can potentially help enable this. So we've been building AI-based solution to enable the complete surveillance of various feeds which are coming in. And the feeds are coming in through different types of sources. Feeds coming from social media, feeds coming from various online publications which are there, feeds coming from news reports, various channels which are reporting live streams, and we are able to create a complete surveillance of what is happening. And if you have a training given to that particular program that this is a potential suspect, then you can detect the movement of that person across anywhere, across India. We are also able to do satellite images to look at movement at the border area where there is very difficulty in actually monitoring any movement which is happening at different times of the day. So that's the type of surveillance that we are able to do with some of the technologies which are becoming available. Dr. Sir talked about the impact of healthcare and some of the things which are impacting people. So this is one of the initiatives that the Tata Group has launched. It is called the Digital Nerve Center. Many of you are aware the type of investments that we have done in the field of cancer treatment. So Tatas have had two large hospitals, one in Mumbai and one in Kolkata, and also a recent cancer research institute in Nagpur, which has been funded by our earlier chairman, Mr. Tata. And we realized that in India, the number of patients or people who actually get detected, out of those, only 40% really get the treatment. 60% of those don't get, or they're not able to reach the right level of treatment which is available. There are a lot of facilities, a lot of features which are available from a treatment perspective, but it doesn't reach the patients. And one of the things which we have done through the Digital Nerve Center is we've created a completely technology-enabled solution wherein engineers are actually helping doctors to connect to the patients and helping the patients to reach the treatment which is available through a lot of data which we are collecting. So one of the very interesting data points that we collected was that a large number of patients were running out of money just by transporting themselves from the village to the regional center where they have the treatment available. And by giving them smart advice on saying that don't travel till you actually do this test at your local centers and you can go only after those tests are ready, that's the type of input we are being able to provide through the Digital Nerve Center. And this is the term that we have actually coined as part of our life sciences and healthcare unit, that engineers are the new doctors, because we are helping the doctors in a big way in contributing towards patient care. We talked about missing the agriculture revolution. Absolutely true. We actually, last big innovation which happened in the field of agriculture was the use of fertilizers, which was in the 1970s. Since then, we have not been able to do any major impact in this field. And we believe that there is something which is very significant that we can do with technology. So, over the last 10 years, we have been actually working on a platform called PIMPRI. It started off with a very simple idea that farmers can potentially get information on their mobile phones. So M-Krishi was mobile Krishi. And we actually then expanded that platform over the last 10 years. We have onboarded close to about 1 million farmers on this particular platform. And it is a complete knowledge store of all the things that the farmer requires, right from weather patterns to the seeds which are required, to the different types of diseases which are there in the plants, to the type of technology which is available, to the type of areas where they can actually sell their goods, the fertilizers, the pesticides, the entire supply chain of demand supply and the economics and the prices, all of that is available on this particular platform. Me and my team are very closely involved in providing the scale. So the Prime Minister's office has given us a challenge to increase the number of farmers from 1 million to 100 million in a very short time period. And we're looking at how we can actually help this. In the office where I operate from in Sayadri Park in CHINCHWAD, we actually have an innovation center where we actually have a digital farm where we use technologies like IoT, AI, drones to actually use complete technology enabled digital farming which actually monitors the entire crop that is being developed on that particular farm. So a phenomenal amount of effort which is going on in this particular area. The IEEE Pune section, thanks to some of my colleagues as well as various members of IEEE and the Agriculture College in Pune and few partnering colleges, engineering colleges have got together and created a special interest group on affordable agriculture. We want to actually break the myth that as you go smaller on the size of the cultivated land, it becomes economically unviable for a farmer and hence it leads to a lot of farmer suicides. Our challenge is to prove that on a 1 acre land, we can actually make farming as profitable as it is on a 100 acre farm. And that's one of the goals that the special interest group has created. And we would like many of you who are interested in solving various problems that the farmers have through the special interest group. So these are the type of things which we have been experiencing in the industry. Given this, our CEO and some of the members of our leadership team, including myself, we put a very simple view of what is Industry 4.0 and what will it mean. So we said on the technology dimension, businesses or any setup should be intelligent, that is it should use data and analytics in a significant manner. It should be agile, that is for any changes and the disruptions which happen, they should be able to adapt very fast. It should be automated, use of automation at a significant level, at a scale that is completely unimaginable, without the fear of feeling that jobs will be lost. Automate things to a level that the right level of automation can be enabled using machines. And on the cloud, which will provide you ultimate scalability. And I have personally been involved in all of these areas and I can see the type of potential the technology is providing. And I'm quite happy to see the different C-cube themes which are there as well as the automation very much well into these technology areas. At the same time, there will be risk. There will be technology as you adopt new technology. As I said, cyber security is one of the biggest threats. Rather than fearing the risk, embrace the risk and look at what all technology can be taken up to adopt to the new technologies and take care of the risk. Leverage ecosystem. Sir very nicely explained the entire ecosystem which is available in DST. Those are the type of ecosystems which are available in India and it is very important for us to understand what are those ecosystems and how we can actually leverage those ecosystems. Mass customization. So it's not about just creating products and solutions, but create the solution for the individual who matters most. So when we look at all of you over here who are students of this college, it's important for the principal and the board to actually look at what is the special qualities that you have and create a curriculum which meets to your special skills. And same applies to customization to the products that we talk about. So the cat which we saw, which was a solution for that old lady, is customized for that particular person. So mass customization plays a very crucial role. And last but not the least, given that all of this is important, we believe that organizations and businesses will be able to create a significant amount of value for themselves and for their customers. So this is how we laid down what we mean as Business 4.0 applied to the Industry 4.0 paradigm. So what is happening in the world and what is happening within TCS and in the industry is that the nature of the workplace is changing. And these are few slides which I want to actually reflect upon how things are changing in our own setup. This is our office. So rather than having a very dull and traditional setup, we are going through a significant amount of change at our workplace. So workplaces are becoming very lively. A lot of collaborative workspaces. We encourage a lot of people to interact with each other. Different types of people, different types of skills coming together. So, for example, we have a complete team working for Jaguar and Land Rover, which is developing electric cars and looking at connected cars as a solution. Now, when you look at a car, what type of an engineer do you require to build a car of the next generation? Mechanical engineer? Or it is going to be an electric car, so do you need an electrical engineer? It will have so much amount of embedded technology in it. When you talk about sensors and you talk about different types of embedded technology, so you need an electrical engineer. The car will be communicating with somebody else. It could be communicating with people, it could be communicating with other cars. So you need a communication engineer. And a car today is a sophisticated computer itself. You have so much amount of computer devices, so you need a computer engineer. At the same time, you like to look at the greatest of cars which look very fancy. You know, you look at a James Bond moving into the latest Jaguar, or the Prime Minister of India going in a Land Rover after the, at the 15th August event. And you need to have fantastic designers who will look at the entire car being developed. So what type of people do you require to build a car? And how do you provide an environment for them to interact is something which we are looking at as the next generation of workplaces within our setup. And this is another setup which is in the industry. So here you look at, this is actually a setup where the packaging industry, where they are actually packaging. So you get order on Amazon and you'll get a parcel which comes to your home. Do you see anybody working over here? There's only one person who's actually monitoring right down there. Everything else is automated. There are some orange or yellow colored boxes which you see, they are actually robots which are actually moving things. And instead of people moving to the work actually moves to the people and actually enables the entire process. So the type of workplaces will itself change. And it's very important for you to understand that the type of engineering which goes into some of these things will actually be a very crucial element of the next generation of solutions that we will create. So what we recommend is to embrace an open and collaboration and collective intelligence. So it's not about just an individual's competency and expertise, but it is a collective intelligence of many people that will create these solutions. So here are the top skills which, if you look at 2015 and 2020, this is just, we picked up something which was presented by one of our senior leaders who is responsible for the education board, and we felt that it is good for you to reflect upon this. Some of these skills, and there is a big laundry list of these skills, which are these skills which are required for 2020. And we felt that it is very important for us not to just talk about these, but actually contribute. So we have got together and formed a core team, which is actually working on creating new curriculums on what is future-ready education. And I would be happy to share with you all the type of curriculum that we have created for making students future-ready and industry-ready. This is the curriculum that we are currently piloting in 3 colleges, including Bharatiya Vidyapeeth Pune, and there's one college in Calcutta and one college in Coimbatore where we are deploying this. And we are hoping that AICT will give the approval to roll it out across the board from the next academic year. So transform learning. The employees have to become multi-skilled. So it is not about individual skills or one type of skills. We expect employees to be having multiple skills. So we use the term ninja developer, ninja programmer as a very common term nowadays. A person who is multi-skilled is able to do various things across the board. Learning has gone through a significant amount of change over the last couple of years, especially as we shifted from the Industry 3.0 era to Industry 4.0. And we have played a very crucial role in transforming the entire education as well as the assessment setup within TCS as well as within the country. So ION, for example, many of you have gone and given competitive exams. Most of the competitive exams today in India are run on the ION platform. As you finish your assessment, by the end of the day, the assessments are completed completely digitally. And we are also launching a lot of programs on the ION platform so that people can go and certify themselves, learn and continuously look at upgrading themselves and certifying themselves so that the entire process by which we are actually recruiting can be automated completely. So this year onwards, we actually completely disrupted the recruitment cycle. So earlier, we used to go to each of the colleges to go and do interviews, do selection. We've now created a completely assessment process. There are dates assigned, an all India assessment program is launched, and students who are wanting to join TCS go and attend the assessments, and then from that set we are going and recruiting people. So this is another way of looking at how are we changing the way digital is playing a very crucial role in scaling up the adoption of technology. So finally, while all of this is great, it's important for me also to tell you what does it mean for you as an individual and what should you do as students, as faculty members and people who are very closely involved in academia. So one thing which is important is be aware. Be aware of all the things which are happening. There is so much amount of content, as Dr. said earlier, that there is so much to learn, so much amount of information which is there. There is an information overload. But it's very important to be aware about what all things are happening. So a lot of things which I talked to you about, these are all areas where you have a great amount of information already available in public domain. As researchers, as students, it is very important for you to actually take that step and be aware of what all is happening in the industry and what all is happening in the form of social transformation, what all is available in the context of the ecosystem which is provided by the government and different sets of setups that have been created by the government, including the DST options which Dr. Kulkarni very nicely put together. Become a Renaissance person. And very interestingly, just 2 days back, we lost one of our great cricketers, Ajit. In some sense, he was a Renaissance person. He taught India how to win overseas. India, till the time Ajit was a captain, became a captain, had never won a series overseas. And these are defining moments for any industry and any business that we are in, that we will look for people in the industry to make a difference. So close to TCS is Mr. F.C. Kohli, who was the first head of TCS. We call him as a Renaissance man, an electrical engineer, a very core technologist to the mind. He actually deployed the first computerization of a power plant at Tata Power and then came on to head TCS and led the entire IT industry formation by just providing the type of leadership that he did and created a complete big industry based on which India today has a very big positioning and standing across the globe. And that's the type of thing which I believe that there are people in this lot who have the potential to become a Renaissance person and make an impact. So important thing is, as we look at the people who are today going through education, there is a tremendous amount of opportunity to use technology, but at the same time, you also want to enjoy and also want to ensure that you are able to work together. And this aspect is very crucial. We actually encourage people to play because playing is a characteristic associated with the child and learning is associated with the child. So keep the child alive in you. So in fact, the platform which we use within TCS for learning is called Fresco Play. And somebody asked me, why do you call it Fresco Play? And I said, look, this is the reason. We want the learning to be associated with playing and to be a child. And the child in you actually will make you a much faster learner and much more curious about what things are. Learn statistics. I was reading very interesting things about data and the type of data explosion which is happening and the type of opportunities which are there for data scientists. And not because I had the analytics and insight business and I am trying to market that you guys should focus on this area, but learning statistics and learning about data science is another area which I believe is a very, very key element. And data is completely taking over the type of opportunities that are being created based on a data-driven approach. And it is very heartening to know some of the colleges actually focus on mathematics and statistics in a big way. Many of the colleges have started looking at having mathematics in all the 8 semesters and also introducing very specialized courses in statistics. So I would encourage you to really look at this particular area in a very, very critical manner. stay curious. I have a 2-month-old kitten at home, and I'm very enthused by the type of curiosity that kitten has. And every time I let him loose, he's very keen to find out new things. He's going and exploring different aspects, and I've been learning a lot of things from that kitten to give a sense that why are we not very curious about each and everything which is there. And I think that's one characteristic which I think we should build in ourselves. We see so many problems, as Sir had said earlier, as we walk out of our campus, as we go to home or as we travel, we'll see a lot of problems around us. Are we very curious about can we solve that problem? Can we do something about it? It's very important that we look at curiosity and not necessarily only creativity. Curiosity is also very important for an individual to actually be able to discover what that problem is and how we can actually address it. At the same time, I recommend that you also look at liberal arts, because a lot of things which we are seeing as solutions being created, be it designing, be it design thinking, liberal arts play a very crucial role. So a lot of the composition of our teams I look at very clearly when I form a team, I ask the question, is there somebody who is good at playing music? Is there a good singer in the team? Is there a good dramatist? Actually makes a very big difference in team formation when I look at liberal arts as a very key component in team formation. So creativity is the next frontier. So, you can always look at some data points as knowledge, and experience will help you structure something, but creativity will help you create something very unique. So creativity is very important. So culturing the creativity within you and ensuring that that creativity keeps on going will be very crucial. Primarily because the way things are changing and the way type of solutions are getting created, creativity will play a very crucial role. Over the years, we actually tend to focus a lot more on building knowledge and focus on technology and lose out certain things which are very inherent in us. And I believe that creativity is very important for any individual success in the world of Industry 4.0. So just want to give a couple of summary points on IEEE Pune section. As you are aware, it is one of the largest knowledge stores. We create a lot of communities where you can actually interact with, and there is a lot of guidance for professionals to actually take on various initiatives for themselves as part of their professional development. IEEE Pune section has been very active in various initiatives, and one of the areas that we've been focusing on is being the area of affordable agriculture. The special interest group is driving a lot of initiatives in this particular area. At the same time, later this year, we are organizing an international conference on data science and analytics at Symbiosis Institute of Technology. We just about concluded the entire paper submission, and I would encourage you guys to participate in this. And also, as I said, it provides a great platform for academia and industry to come together. Many of my colleagues, while they interact with PCCOE, but there are a lot of things that we do on the IEEE platform, and we would like to encourage you to participate as well. So that's all. I just wanted to give you this perspective. As I mentioned, I am very active on LinkedIn and on Twitter. So in case you want to ask any questions, follow me and give me your suggestions and feedback. And I will be around for some more time. So in case you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.